Paris, 1925. The city of light shimmered with laughter, jazz, and money. Every cafe was alive with artists, dreamers, and thieves. And above it all stood the Eiffel Tower, proud but rusting, fading from a symbol of progress into a burden of steel. Among the crowd of dreamers walked one man who saw not beauty, but opportunity. His name was Victor Lustig, a man of charm and precision, born in Austria-Hungary, raised on wit, and fluent in deception. He was tall, elegant, always dressed like nobility, yet his true kingdom was the art of illusion. Lustig had a rule: people don't fall for lies. They fall for what they want to believe. And in a Paris brimming with ambition and vanity, there was always someone who wanted to believe. He had spent years conning his way across Europe and America, fake investments, counterfeit bonds, phantom deals. He'd leave behind a trail of polite handshakes and empty wallets. To most, he was just another stranger passing through. But to those who met him, he was unforgettable. By 1925, Victor Lustig wanted something grander, something that would make the world gasp, even if it never knew his name, something that would crown him as a legend of deception. And so, he set his eyes on the impossible, the Eiffel Tower. At the time, rumors swirled through Paris. Whispers that the tower had grown too costly to maintain. Newspapers called it ugly, outdated, a relic of another age. And in those whispers, Victor heard music, a story believable enough to become real. He rented a suite at the Hotel de Crillon, overlooking the Place de la Concorde. There, in his quiet room, he forged official letters, complete with seals of the Ministry of Posts and Telegraphs. The paper smelled of fresh ink and authority. The lie was perfect. Soon, 5 of Paris's wealthiest scrap metal dealers received elegant invitations, handwritten, discreet, to a secret government meeting regarding the decommissioning of the Eiffel Tower. The men arrived in polished black cars, hats tilted low, eyes curious but cautious. Inside the marble halls, Lustig played his part with the ease of a born actor. Every gesture measured, every word deliberate. He spoke softly of budgetary constraints and public relations concerns. He presented himself not as a salesman, but as a weary bureaucrat burdened by secrets. The dealers leaned in. They wanted to believe. One of them, André Poussin, was particularly eager, a man of money, but not reputation, always chasing approval from Paris's elite. Victor saw him instantly. The insecurity, the pride, the hunger to be seen. Later that evening, over dinner at Maxim's, Victor leaned close and whispered, "Between us, monsieur, certain officials must be persuaded." Poussin nodded. He understood. A bribe, a quiet favor, the language of business. 2 days later, in a private room, Poussin handed him a suitcase filled with cash, the payment for the tower, and a gift for his new friend at the ministry. Victor shook his hand, offered a smile, and that afternoon disappeared. He boarded a train to Vienna under a false name, the suitcase beside him, a newspaper in his hands. As Paris blurred into the distance, a thin smile crossed his face. He just sold the Eiffel Tower. Days later, Poussin arrived with his trucks, ready to dismantle his new empire of steel, only to be met with laughter and confusion. There was no sale, no contract, and no trace of the charming government official. But pride is a powerful thing. Too humiliated to confess, Poussin stayed silent. And that silence, that pride, gave Lustig time to do it again. Weeks later, Victor returned to Paris. The same hotel, the same letters, the same lie. But this time, one of his targets grew suspicious. He contacted the authorities. And when police stormed the hotel, Lustig was already gone. His name erased from the guest book, his rooms empty, his shadow vanished. He fled to America, and there his legend only grew. He sold fake money printing machines to bankers. He conned the ruthless Al Capone and survived. He forged bonds, printed fake bills, and lived in hotels under a dozen names. Each morning, he'd dress in tailored suits, bowler hat perfectly angled, smile practiced to disarm suspicion. Every city was a stage, every victim an eager audience. But even legends run out of luck. In 1935, the U.S. Secret Service caught him in New York. Inside his room, They found printing plates, counterfeit bills, and evidence of crimes that crossed oceans. When asked for a statement, Lustig smiled faintly and said, "I suppose it's true. I sold the Eiffel Tower twice." He was sentenced to 20 years in Alcatraz. Behind bars, he remained a gentleman, polite, composed, always writing letters. Some say even the guards liked him. In 1947, pneumonia ended his life. In the prison records next to occupation, the warden wrote 2 words: confidence man. To some, he was a criminal. To others, a genius. But to those who study the art of persuasion, Victor Lustig was something more. He understood that power lies not in truth, but in belief. And belief, once sold, can be worth more than steel, gold, or even the Eiffel Tower itself. Because sometimes, the greatest trick isn't fooling the world. It's making it want to be fooled